Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. Well, of course, a lot of our focus is on, it's a new year and New Year's resolutions. And many of you out there are probably saying to yourselves, you know what, it's a New Year's resolution. I want to introduce myself to doing something new. And perhaps that something new is a hobby. There are so many benefits when it comes to getting into finding a hobby that you are passionate about. And I can tell you my next guest is very passionate about hobbies. I'm joined by Bill Chappell. He is the owner of the Hobby Center. Welcome back, Bill.
Thanks for having me, sir.
A pleasure. Happy New Year to you. How were your holidays?
Very good, thank you.
Excellent. Happy to hear that. Yeah, Bill, you've been on the show before, but for people that are tuning in for the first time, and we have a chance to introduce you to them, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I run the Hobby Center. That's how I make a living. So I've been selling hobbies for about, coming up on 37 years now. So it's been a while. And I've decided that not only should I be selling hobbies, but I should be selling the idea of doing hobbies. That's probably as big a job as, actually selling the stuff,
right.
Is selling the idea of doing it.
So how do you sell that idea?
Well, we do it in the store, we do it online, I come on your show,
yeah.
I get out there and put out the word. And what's coming up is this hobby show this weekend in Aylmer, Quebec, in a shopping center. And this
excellent.
is the perfect way to learn about hobbies.
Well, okay, let's talk about that then. Let's have that little bit of introduction. So what are some of the benefits of getting into a hobby? Getting
into a hobby gives you focus. It takes your mind off things. It gives you a feeling of accomplishment when you create something. It's kind of like, an artist in their picture. So you take a bunch of plastic or whatever and you turn it into a finished object and something you can display with pride and, brag about, show to your friends. And you get accomplishment,
Well, and you're right, because I remember as a kid doing hobbies, and my brother and I were really into modeling, and your friends would come over. You'd have that bookcase, right? Yeah. Just filled with all of your accomplishments, and how much fun was that? Let's do a little show and tell. So what have you brought along with you here today?
Well, I'm hoping these are things you will see if you come and attend the show this weekend. Like there's science fiction models. We all know the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is a what they call a gunpla model. It's a Japanese animation mechanical suit, combat suit.
Okay.
Very popular with the youth these days. This is a freelance creation. It's you've seen the movie Ghostbusters.
This is freelance?
Yeah, this is a 57 or 55 Chev that he's converted into a fantasy Ghostbuster mobile. Like it's plausible because it's so good, right?
Yeah.
But it's totally made up. This was a 3D painted figure, nicely painted, of Bernie Sanders.
Oh, that's who that is.
So they'll be there with historical miniature soldiers. I saw that instead of a soldier, we bring Bernie out.
Yeah, of course.
One of the main focuses, the sponsor of this show is the Model Railroad Club in Quebec.
Okay.
And they have this ginormous demonstration layout. It's like 10 feet tall, multi-layered, and they show all the different scales. Like, this is your little N scale train. This is HO. Those are two of the most popular ones. But then they've got bigger and bigger and the garden scale ones, and you can see them all in action. So you get an idea what you're looking at. You say, hey, that's the one I'd like to do.
Yeah, and you can really, when you see people that are passionate, in particular about trains like this, it's incredible the environments that they build around them, eh? That's, I think, what makes it so much fun.
Well, there's some large modular layouts that'll be there in the N scale and the HO, all landscaped. We're talking 30, 40 feet long. Yeah, it'll blow your mind when you come and see this stuff.
I love it. Tell me about this boat here.
Radio control boat.
This is radio controlled.
Yes,
okay.
It's a rather small one because space limits, but there'll be ones this big as you want, as small as you want. And the club that does these, they're usually at Browns Inlet every Tuesday night in the summer.
Yeah, I've been
they're
to see them.
Be out doing a display and promoting their club. So come out, ask some questions, learn about it. Maybe it's for you.
This is something I remember growing, and they've come a long way.
They have. That's a radio controlled drift car.
Oh, it's a drift car.
That
is
so
cool.
What I'm doing here is the young lad that works for me, we're taking this sucker out, and we have nice smooth floors in this mall, and he's going to be doing some drifting out there. So you can come out and check him out drifting these cars.
And we're seeing more and more of these. This is a drone we've got here, and you can get them from small to really as big as you want these days,
Yeah, this is the small, lightweight model. It's perfectly legal. You don't have to register it online, and that is just an example. We've seen radio control clubs show up with their large airplanes and helicopters and that. It's always up to who shows up to this thing. So you can have, things I haven't even mentioned because I don't do them. There's going to be a bug display there.
Really?
You can go see beetles and cockroaches the size of your hand, and then pins, those pins, those metal stick-on pins.
Yeah.
Thousands of them. These guys are displaying because that's their passion.
Right,
collecting,
right.
bug collecting. Some guy that makes violins by hand. Lego. There's a big Lego train layout.
Yeah.
The kids love that stuff. Now, not only do you get to see these, you get to meet the clubs, you get to talk to the people that do it, you know, so you can learn more about it. There'll be people selling stuff. Like I'll have a booth there. I'll be selling some things.
Of course.
And there's some individuals and collectors. They'll be selling stuff. So you have an opportunity to buy as well as view. So it's kind of covering everything.
Well, what mall is this in? Where's
the
it
Galleries of Aylmer.
Okay,
Galleries
yeah,
of Aylmer.
yeah, I'm familiar.
On the Rue Principale.
Yep.
I think there's a Jean Coutu and a Super C in there. It's a pretty big mall. And it's kind of like a circular, and they've got, you know, train layouts at each end.
So it'd be sort of kiosks
vendors, and yeah, you just
all
walk through
around.
the whole mall. The mall's open, you can shop it, you can make a day of it.
How
And
is
it's
this
free.
industry, and free is great, right? 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., I think,
Each
both
day,
Saturday,
Saturday,
Sunday.
Sunday, yep.
How has the industry changed over the 37 years you've been involved?
The radio control, I think, has got more affordable.
Okay.
So it's more accessible to
Right.
everybody. Trains, I mean, these are base models here, but they've got sounds and lights, and they do things, and it's crazy. The sky's the limit. Models, you know, there's been more selection of models than you could ever dream of.
Yeah, I guess as you know, new movies come out and television series and things like that, right? That this industry really jumps all over it, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're on the cusp of that.
As I mentioned, that was a 3D printed thing. 3D printing is becoming
that's
a big
another
thing.
amazing
you know?
one. You wanted to do a quick PSA for those traveling from Ontario to Quebec. There's been some issues with license plate renewals,
Yes,
right?
I'm afraid everybody should be aware that when you go to Quebec for anything, doesn't matter, they are very strict on checking license plate registration. So you don't have to pay to register your plates in Ontario anymore. We all know that. And they're not too strict on enforcing that, but over there they do check for it.
Right.
So take 5 minutes, go online, make sure your plates are up to date. Save yourself a lot of problems.
Yeah, save yourself probably a couple $100. There was the Camp Fortune issue, I know, and people that were going to Le Nordique from Ontario. So a great PSA. Thanks again for joining us. Really appreciate it, Bill.
I appreciate being here.
Happy New Year again.
Same
and
to you.
Happy New Year to you at home. Don't go away. Lots more coming up, including how to get your sleep back on track. And we'll introduce you to a great actor and author coming up.